Okay, good morning everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining us with this very important announcement. And I first wish to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee, and to acknowledge the neighboring communities of Six Nations of the Grand River and the Mississaugas of the Credit. And I'd also like to recognize that Ontario is home to many diverse Indigenous peoples, including Métis. My name is Chad Collins. I'm the Member of Parliament for Hamilton East Stony Creek, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning, joined by Minister Alghabrah and my friend and colleague, MP Lisa Hefner, as well as Ian Hamilton from the Port. Today's announcement is very significant for us. And first, thank you to the Minister. He not only comes to Hamilton with a check each time, but he brings beautiful weather with him. So I thank him for that. The investment today will go a long way to help us reduce our greenhouse gas emissions. It is part of the transformation of the port that we've seen over the last almost 10 to 15 years now, in terms of investments that help not only with the environment that we have, environmental issues that we have here historically here in Hamilton, but our transition to a multimodal transportation system. Yesterday, Lisa and I and Minister Tassi were at Hamilton Airport, and we talked about the importance of having a multimodal transportation system and the benefits that it has and accrues for Hamilton. And for us, a multimodal system, which is a big part of the City of Hamilton's economic development plan, assists us in so many ways. And most people don't understand that Hamilton is one of the very few municipalities in Canada that has all four. And so for us, the investment that we see here today assists with that transition, and it assists with the previous investments that have been made in terms of investing in multimodal. And Ian explained to us earlier today in terms of how the ships will come in. They will offload that steel onto rail, and that will take an estimated 4,000 heavy trucks off of city streets. And so for us, that's significant because, as we know, for those of us who live locally, transport trucks through the downtown and through our neighborhoods have been a big issue for communities and neighborhoods that not just border the port, but extend far beyond into the lower city. And so that, I think, is an accomplishment itself in terms of one of those side benefits that we'll see with this investment. And so I'm pleased to be joined here by the Minister, and at this point in time I'd like to introduce Minister Alghabrah, who will tell us a little bit more about today's investment. Minister?
Thank you very much, Chad. Good morning, everyone. Great to be back in Hamilton, and I am grateful for this great weather. When it's a good day, it's a federal jurisdiction. When it's a bad weather, we blame it on the province. I'm also delighted to be here with my friends and colleagues, Chad and Lisa. Minister Tassi would have also liked to be with us. Unfortunately, she has another commitment. But my three colleagues, including the Minister, have been a strong advocate and a champion of the City of Hamilton, the region, the port, the airport. And I'm here mainly because of their advocacy and because of their leadership. So I'm grateful to both of you for all the work that you do. Ian, it's also good to see you. It's good to be back here with you. And I know members of the board are here, the chair of the board, the Hamilton Port Authority and team members. Thank you for all that you do to making sure that our supply chain keeps moving. The Port of Hamilton is the largest port in Ontario, and it's located in the main steel manufacturing city in Canada. So everyone here knows that Canada's steel industry relies on a strong supply chain, especially at critical hubs like our ports. It's clear that the lingering effects of the pandemic, climate impacts, and global events have affected our supply chain. That's why our government is working hard to find ways to strengthen it. We know the resilience of our transportation supply chain is crucial to our economic success. And our economy's health is at the core of the fall economic statement announced last week. The statement made it clear that our government is taking action to build an economy that works for everyone while making life more affordable for Canadians. And it reinforced that the government is taking immediate action to help strengthen our supply chains and ports. This is, of course, in line with the recent report from our supply chain task force, which put forward ways to make it more efficient, fluid, and resilient. It also included a key recommendation to ease congestion at our ports, which brings me to why we are here today. I'm proud to announce that our government is investing close to $5 million in the Port of Hamilton. This investment will support a project to develop a new loading facility here at the port, which we just visited the property a minute before this announcement. This facility will be used for transferring steel products more easily between vessels and other modes of transportation, as Chad just explained. This will help build capacity and efficiency in Canada's steel supply chain while reducing congestion at ports, particularly at the Port of Hamilton. So today is good news and is part of our overall strategy to address the rising cost of living, which includes other measures that we've been working on. Those measures include immediate relief, providing immediate relief to families, like doubling the GST credit, helping Canadians buy their first home, reduce childcare costs, and support families with dental care. So by making these investments to make life easier for Canadians and by supporting the resilience of our supply chains, we are investing to build an economy that works for everyone. Thank you all for being here, and once again I want to reiterate my gratitude to the Port of Hamilton, to its leadership, to those who work at the port. You've kept our supply chain moving, you've served this region, and your vision in increasing its capacity and its efficiency is supported by our government, and I look forward to continuing to see the improvement that you're working on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Minister Alghabrah. We love always to invite you here in Hamilton, especially when you're bringing money to invest into our communities. And this is the sort of investment that touches virtually everyone in our community, whether you're someone who uses the roads and would like to see a little bit less heavy truck traffic. I mean, Burlington Street is notorious for a reason, right? Or whether you're one of the myriad of businesses that are touched and dependent on the steel industry in Hamilton, which is so widespread, or whether you're just one of the Hamiltonians that likes to enjoy the waterfront. We've seen so many improvements down here. It's really something to be proud of. And Ian Hamilton, head of the Port Authority, I met you soon after you took on the role. And the amount of change we have seen in the Hamilton-Oshawa Port Authority is enormous in terms of the economic driver to our community and in terms of just basic Hamiltonians being able to enjoy the waterfront. So thank you so much for your strong leadership of our Port Authority, and thank you for investing in projects like these, which are really green jobs. When we're talking about green jobs, this is the sort of project that brings that to our community. So thank you very much, and Ian Hamilton, I'll pass the mic over to you.
Well, thank you, and good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Port of Hamilton on this beautiful, beautiful day. And thank you, Minister Alghabrah, for visiting and this morning, and MP Collins, and MP Hefner. I also want to acknowledge, I think he's back there somewhere, Jamie from Amalgamated, who's actually going to operate the facility and has really been integral in making all this possible. As the largest port in Ontario, the Port of Hamilton is the key to supply chain, key supply chain gateway to the steel industry and other essential goods that feed the region. There's a good reason Hamilton is referred to as Steel Town, and the Port of Hamilton is critical to Canada's steel industry, supporting key local and Ontario businesses such as automotive, construction, appliances, and buildings. The port handles more finished steel than any other gateway in Ontario, and these volumes are rising, complementing local production from ArcelorMittal Tabasco and from Stelco. Today's investments will help to ensure a reliable supply of steel necessary for residential and construction projects and the Ontario manufacturers. The contribution is part of a $10 million project to enhance the transfer of steel products between transportation modes at the port. The project includes the construction of a new rail transload facility at Pier 15, designed specifically for the handling of steel products. The facility will be on 5 acres with a 60,000 square foot building. Our partner Amalgamated will receive the steel from the FMT facility, Pier 15, process it, and distribute it around the country by truck and by rail. And that's the exciting piece. Up until now, it's had to be all distributed by truck, but by incorporating rail into this facility, it makes a huge movement forward in building supply chain resilience and capacity. By creating new interconnections between marine, rail, and road, this project will increase the efficiency and the resiliency of the supply chain in the region for the construction and manufacturing sectors. When completed, the facility will add more than 100,000 metric tons annually of new steel handling capacity at the Port of Hamilton and enable a shift in trade flows from truck to rail, reducing carbon emissions associated with the long-distance truck transportation of steel products. We're always happy to welcome Minister Alghabrah to the port. He's been a wonderful champion of the Great Lakes and the role of efficient supply chains can play in improving the environment, economy, and the quality of life for Canadians. And we're always very happy when he brings good news. That's code for check. Related to the National Trade Corridor Fund program. The NTCF has been wonderfully successful in supporting these base infrastructure that is the key to unlocking Canadian supply chains. This program began even before supply chains were fashionable, but now we all know how essential they are for the economy. Our previous NTCF Westport project is a great example. The $17 million invested through the NTCF program has been leveraged to attract more than $77 million in HOPA dollars and $42 million in third-party investments. It's a true success story. It's created new jobs and improved environmental performance. Here at Pier 15, this is another targeted investment that will give our industries the confidence and the reliable supply chains they need to invest. Work on this project is already underway, with the design work and the site preparation complete and building construction set to start within the next couple of weeks. It is my pleasure to have you all join us today to celebrate this milestone, and we get to work on another terrific port project. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ian, and thank you, Minister, and thank you, Lisa. Now I'd like to turn it over to Nadine Ramadan, Press Secretary and Communications Advisor to Minister Alghabrah, who will moderate the question and answer session. Thank you. Nadine.
Thank you. We'll now begin with the question and answer portion of this event. It'll be one question and one follow-up per reporter. Nous allons maintenant commencer avec la période de questions et réponses. C'est une question et une suivi par journaliste. Do you have a first question? You can use this mic if you have a question.
Hi, my name is Lisa from CHCH News. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a little short. No problem. So I was wondering if the Minister of Transport, could tell us when do you expect the supply chain issues to return to normal?
Thank you for the question. Look, supply chains around the world have had a severe disruption over the last couple of years. And domestically too. So it's hard really to guess when exactly we're going to return to normal, whatever that normal may be, because we may never return to the previous normal. We may have a new normal. And our hope is that the new normal will be more efficient, more resilient than the previous normal. And that's the reason why this announcement is taking place. That's why soon in the House of Commons, our government is tabling a bill on modernizing how ports are governed. That's why recently we announced $130 million to digitize our supply chains. That's why this fall we're going to be announcing additional infrastructure investment in our supply chain. So all that to say is that action is being taken. And I think the new normal will come by as quickly as possible, but it's hard really to predict because there are so many moving parts around the world that depend on it. We need to do what we have control over here at home, which is strengthening our infrastructure, streamlining our procedures and processes, and reducing red tape.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Do we have any more questions? Okay, that ends our Q&A session. Thank you.
Thank you very much.